Unit 4, formative 1, day 3, multiplying exponents. And these are going to be exponents with the same base. Okay, your base number is your large number, and the little ones are your exponent. So I have 3 to the second times 3 to the fourth. Okay, I'm going to write it out the long way so you guys can find a shortcut. If I have 3 to the second, that just means 3 times 3. And then if I have 3 to the fourth, that means I have 4 more 3s. So that means 3. All right. So I have 3 to the second, which is right here, times 3 to the fourth, which is right here. Now, how many 3's do I have all together? I have 6. So let's think, is there a shortcut I can get without writing out all the 3's? Okay, so you should see a shortcut. Let's check it. Next one, I have negative 2 to the third, which means I have negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, and then I have negative 2 to the second, which means I have 2 more. Okay? So I have negative 2 to the third times negative 2 to the second. How many negative 2's do I have? Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 of those. Okay, so how could I get from here to here without writing all this out? Okay, and hopefully you see it's adding my exponents. Okay, so 3 to the second times 3 to the fourth. 2 plus 4 is 6. Notice my base did not change. Did I multiply my two numbers? No. All you're doing is adding your exponents. So here I have negative 2 to the third times negative 2 to the second. 3 plus 2 is 5. Let's look at the next. So if I have, knowing this, if I have a to the fourth times a to the sixth, that is a to the 10th. 4 plus 6 is 10. Right. Now on this one, you've got to be careful on these. I have x to the third, y to the second, x to the fourth, and y doesn't have an exponent, so make sure you know that's a 1. All right. Now this one, I'm going to group them because I can't multiply x's and y's together, but I can take these two x's and regroup them. Remember, this is multiplication, so I can change the order I add in. So I have x to the third times x to the fourth, and then I'm going to group my y's. Y to the second times y to the first. So now I have x to the third times x to the fourth, which is x to the seventh, because 3 plus 4 is 7. And then I have y to the second times y to the first. 2 plus 1 is 3. So my answer is x to the 7th, y to the 3rd. Next one, again, we have different letters and some numbers. So we have negative 3a to the second b times 6a b to the 4th. So I'm going to group everything up to start with. So negative 3 can multiply times the 6. And I have a to the second times a to the first. Remember, that doesn't have an exponent, so it's a 1. And then I have b to the first times b to the fourth. And now it's just a multiplication problem. What's negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. A to the second times a to the first. I'm going to add my two exponents. Gives me a to the third. I have 3 a's total. And then I have b to the fifth. Now, let's look at it with multiplying with scientific notation. Okay. Now, even though this has an x here for multiplication, it's all multiplication. I'm multiplying the 4 times 10 to the third times 12 times 10 to the negative 6. So this all can be changed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to group the things I can multiply together. So I'm going to group stuff together. So I can actually take the 4 times the 12. So I'm going to group those together. Then I'm going to group my 10s together, right? Because they have the same base. They have an exponent and the same base. So 4 times 2 is 48 times 10. Now it's the same base, so we're going to add our exponents. What's 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3. Now, is this in scientific notation? No, it's not, because this is not between 1 and 10. So my decimals after the 8, I need to move it So I have 4.8 times 10. Now this number again got smaller, so this one's going to get larger by how many times I moved it. I moved my decimal one time. So I have negative 3 plus 1, which is negative 2. Right? Now let's look at the next one. Again, I'm going to regroup. So I can take 6 times 11, and then I can take 10 to the second times 10 to the negative 8. Oops, sorry, that's an 8. All right, so 6 times 11 is 66 times 10, and I have 10 to the second times 10 to the negative 8. I'm going to add 2 plus negative 8 gives me negative 6. Now, is it in scientific notation? No, it's not in scientific notation because that's not between 1 and 10. So I'm going to move my decimal over one time. So I'm going to get 6.6 times 10. Now the number got smaller, so that means this is going to get larger by 1 because I moved my decimal one time. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. And that's our answer. All right, let's do an evaluation. So 3 times x times y to the second. 3 times x times y to the second. Let's solve this if x is 4 and if y is negative 1. So first thing I'm going to do is substitute. X is 4, so I'm going to replace x is 4. And then y is negative 1, and that's squared. Okay. So remember your order of operations. Parentheses, there's no parentheses. There's exponents, so negative 1 to the second power, again, is negative 1 times negative 1, which is 1. So 3 times 4 times 1. 3 times 4 is 12, times 1 is 12. So the answer is 12. All right, there's multiplying exponents.